Hello everyone, welcome to Easy English for Everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share to receive the latest videos. Now let's study together.
Do you feel nervous when speaking English? Imagine feeling confident, speaking smoothly, and expressing yourself with ease. The secret? It's simpler than you think, and it starts with reading. Let me show you how. Reading improves fluency and vocabulary. Reading is one of the most effective ways to improve fluency and vocabulary in English. It is a simple yet powerful tool that helps learners build strong language skills. By reading regularly, you can expand your vocabulary, understand sentence structures, and become a more confident speaker. In this essay, we will explore how reading helps improve fluency and vocabulary, why it works so well, and how you can make reading part of your daily routine. 1. How reading improves vocabulary. When you read, you encounter many new words. These words appear in sentences that show you how they are used. Instead of memorizing lists of vocabulary, you see words in action. This makes it easier to understand their meaning and remember them. For example, imagine you read this sentence. The children dashed across the playground, laughing and shouting. Even if you don't know the word dashed, you can guess its meaning by reading the rest of the sentence. Since the children are laughing and shouting, dashed must mean something like ran quickly. By reading different types of content, such as stories, articles, and comics, you will naturally pick up new words. These words become part of your mental word bank, ready to use when you speak or write. 2. Learning words with meaning. When you learn new words through reading, they have meaning and context. This is better than memorizing random words. For example, learning the word adventure from a thrilling story will help you remember it better. You might remember the hero going on an exciting journey, which connects the word adventure with excitement and exploration. Instead of memorizing words like forest, mystery, and cabin from a textbook, you can read a story about a group of friends exploring a mysterious cabin in the forest. This makes the learning process enjoyable and memorable. 3. Repetition makes words stick. Reading exposes you to the same words many times. This repetition helps you remember them. When you read often, certain words and phrases start to feel familiar. Over time, these words become part of your active vocabulary. For example, if you keep reading about characters who whisper, shout, or grin, you'll naturally remember these words and use them when you speak. 4. Learning word families and synonyms. Reading also introduces you to related words. For example, if you read the word excited, you may also see words like thrilled, joyful, or delighted. Seeing these words in context helps you understand when and how to use them correctly. For example, she was excited about her birthday party. He felt thrilled when he won the race. They were delighted to see their friends. By noticing these patterns, you can expand your vocabulary in a natural way. 5. How reading improves fluency. Fluency means speaking smoothly and confidently. Reading helps improve fluency by training your brain to recognize language patterns. When you read, your brain absorbs common sentence structures and phrases. Over time, these patterns become familiar, and you can use them automatically when you speak. For example, reading sentences like, "He went to the store because he needed some milk. She visited her grandmother every weekend," helps your brain remember how English sentences are built. When it's time to speak, these patterns come out naturally, without you having to think too hard. 6. Reading builds sentence flow. Reading teaches you how words connect to form sentences. It shows you where to pause, which words go together, and how ideas flow. This helps you speak more clearly and confidently. For example, reading a conversation like this can improve your speaking skills. "Hey, are you going to the party tonight?" "Yeah, I might." "Are you?" "Definitely. I'll see you there." By reading such dialogues, you become more comfortable with everyday conversations. 7. Reading helps you think in English. One challenge English learners face is thinking in their native language and then translating into English. This slows down your speaking. Reading can change this by helping you think directly in English. Imagine you read a simple story about a boy playing soccer. As you get absorbed in the story, you start to picture the scenes in your mind without translating each word. Over time, this habit makes speaking easier and faster. 8. Reading improves pronunciation. Reading out loud is a great way to improve your pronunciation. When you read aloud, you practice forming English sounds and speaking with a natural rhythm. This improves your ability to speak smoothly and confidently. For example, reading this sentence aloud can help you practice. The wind whispered through the trees as the leaves danced in the air. Practicing these sounds makes your speech clearer and more fluent. 9. How to build a reading habit. Building a reading habit doesn't have to be hard. Here are some simple tips to get started. Start small. Read for just 10 to 15 minutes a day. Choose interesting content. Pick stories, articles, or comics that you enjoy. Read materials at your level. If the text is too hard, you'll get frustrated. If it's too easy, you won't learn much. Use graded readers. These are special books written for English learners with simple language and helpful explanations. Read aloud sometimes. This will improve your pronunciation and speaking confidence. Take notes. Write down new words or interesting sentences to review later. 10. Recommended reading materials. If you're not sure what to read, here are some ideas. Children's books. Simple language and fun stories make them perfect for beginners. Short stories. These are great for practicing reading without feeling overwhelmed. Comics and graphic novels. The pictures help you understand the story, making reading easier and more enjoyable. Magazines and blogs. Choose topics that interest you, such as food, sports, or travel. Graded readers. These books are designed for English learners and include helpful vocabulary explanations. Reading is a powerful tool that can improve both your vocabulary and fluency in English. By reading regularly, you will learn new words naturally, understand sentence structures better, and feel more confident when speaking. Best of all, reading can be fun and relaxing. So, pick up a book, article, or comic today and start building your English skills one page at a time. How reading helps you understand grammar naturally. Reading is one of the most powerful ways to improve your grammar skills without even trying. While studying grammar rules can feel difficult and confusing, reading makes learning grammar easy and natural. When you read stories, articles, or even comics, your brain picks up correct sentence patterns, common phrases, and natural word order without effort. This method is not only effective but also enjoyable. Here are several ways reading can help you improve your grammar naturally. 1. Seeing grammar in action. When you read, you see grammar rules being used in real sentences. Instead of memorizing complicated rules, you notice how sentences are structured. For example, when you read a sentence like, "She went to the store because she needed some milk," you naturally understand how the past tense, went, and the conjunction, because, work together. By reading more sentences like this, you begin to recognize patterns and apply them when speaking or writing. 2. Learning sentence structure. Books and articles are filled with different types of sentences. Some are short and simple, while others are long and complex. By reading, you learn how to form sentences correctly. For example, simple sentence, "The cat sleeps on the couch." Complex sentence, "The cat sleeps on the couch because it loves the warm sunlight." By seeing these examples, you learn how to add details and connect ideas naturally. 3. Understanding tenses. Reading helps you understand different verb tenses. For example, a novel may describe past events, while an article may discuss present issues or future plans. By reading these naturally, you see how tenses work without needing to memorize complicated rules. For example, present tense, "He walks to school every day." Past tense. He walked to school yesterday. Future tense. He will walk to school tomorrow. As you read more stories, you will become comfortable using different tenses correctly. 4. Learning punctuation. Punctuation marks like commas, periods, and quotation marks can be confusing. However, when you read books or articles, you see punctuation used correctly in every sentence. For example, with comma, after dinner, we went for a walk. With quotation marks, I'm so excited, said Lucy. Reading shows you when and how punctuation should appear in sentences. Over time, this knowledge becomes automatic. 5. Discovering common expressions. Native speakers often use common expressions or idioms in daily conversations. Reading helps you learn these naturally. For example, I'm over the moon about my new job. Instead of memorizing phrases from a textbook, you see them in context, making it easier to remember and use them in your own speech. 6. Improving word order. English word order can be confusing for beginners. Reading shows you how to arrange words correctly. For example, correct order. I usually drink coffee in the morning. Incorrect order. I drink usually coffee in the morning. By seeing correct sentences often, your brain learns the correct order without needing to study long grammar charts. 7. Learning how to connect ideas. Writers use linking words such as and, but, because, and although to connect ideas. Reading helps you understand how these words are used. For example, linking words in use. I wanted to go outside, but it started to rain. He stayed home because he was feeling sick. Seeing these examples helps you understand how to express your thoughts more clearly and naturally. 8. Developing a natural writing style. When you read regularly, you begin to write in a way that sounds natural. You pick up on sentence patterns, common phrases, and appropriate tone. For example, a formal article may teach you how to write politely, while a fun comic may show you casual language. Both are important for improving your grammar and communication skills. 9. Improving spelling and word forms. Reading introduces you to different word forms, such as nouns, verbs, and adjectives. For example, noun, beauty. Adjective, beautiful. Verb, beautify. When you see these words in context, you understand how they are used in sentences. This helps you avoid common grammar mistakes. 10. Building confidence with grammar. One of the best benefits of learning grammar through reading is that it feels easy and natural. Instead of stressing over grammar exercises, you enjoy stories, articles, or interesting facts. The more you read, the more confident you become in your ability to write and speak correctly. Tips for using reading to improve grammar. Start with simple materials. Choose books, articles, or comics written in simple English. These materials are easier to understand and show basic grammar patterns clearly. Read out loud. Reading aloud helps you notice sentence patterns, punctuation, and word flow. Highlight key sentences. When you find a sentence with good grammar, underline it. Try writing your own sentences using the same structure. Be consistent. Reading just 10 to 15 minutes a day can greatly improve your grammar skills over time. Reading is one of the most effective ways to improve your grammar naturally. By seeing correct sentences, learning common patterns, and exploring new vocabulary, you train your brain to understand English grammar without effort. So pick up a book, dive into an article, or enjoy a fun comic today. With every page you read, your grammar will improve, and your confidence in English will grow. Reading helps you understand grammar naturally. Learning English grammar can feel difficult. Many people study rules, practice exercises, and memorize charts. But there is another powerful way to improve your grammar: reading. When you read often, you learn grammar in a natural and enjoyable way. This method helps you remember grammar rules without much effort. Let's explore how reading can improve your grammar skills. 1. Grammar and context. When you read books, stories, or articles, you see grammar being used in real-life situations. Instead of learning grammar rules in isolation, you see how sentences are formed in natural conversations and descriptions. This helps you understand the purpose of different grammar structures. For example, if you read a story about a boy walking to school, you might see sentences like, "He was walking quickly because he was late. He had forgotten his lunch at home. If he didn't hurry, he would miss the bus." By reading these sentences, you can see how the past continuous tense was walking, past perfect tense had forgotten, and conditional tense, if he didn't hurry, are used naturally. You don't need to memorize the rules directly. Instead, you absorb them through context. 2. Sentence patterns and structure. Reading regularly helps you recognize common sentence patterns. Over time, your brain becomes familiar with how English sentences are built. For example, you may notice that English sentences often follow a subject-verb-object pattern. The girl opened the door. He picked up his phone. They went to the park. Through reading, you also become familiar with more complex structures, such as, although it was raining, they decided to go outside. After finishing her homework, she watched a movie. By seeing these patterns repeatedly, you begin to understand how to use them correctly in your own speaking and writing. 3. Learning prepositions and connectors. Prepositions like in, on, at, and by are often tricky for English learners. However, reading shows you how they are naturally used in sentences. For example, she arrived at the station on time. He placed the book on the table. They met in the library to study. Instead of memorizing long lists of prepositions, you naturally learn how they fit into everyday language. Similarly, reading helps you understand connectors like however, therefore, and meanwhile. These words make your sentences smoother and more professional. 4. Improving verb tense usage. Reading exposes you to different verb tenses. Over time, you become familiar with how and when to use each tense correctly. For example, present simple. She plays the piano every day. Present continuous. He is studying for his exam right now. Past simple. They visited New York last summer. Past perfect. By the time we arrived, they had already left. Reading stories or articles helps you see these tenses in action. This makes it easier to remember which tense to use in your own sentences. 5. Understanding articles. A and E. Articles are small but important words in English. For example, I saw a cat outside. She bought an apple at the market. We visited the museum yesterday. By reading often, you will notice how native speakers use these words. You will develop a natural instinct for choosing the correct article without overthinking it. 6. Learning word order and sentence flow. English sentences follow specific word order rules. Reading helps you understand these rules without memorization. For example, correct. I often visit my grandmother. Incorrect. I visit often my grandmother. Through reading, you will learn how to place adverbs, adjectives, and other elements correctly. The more you read, the more natural your sentence flow will become. 7. Building confidence in writing and speaking. When you read often, grammar patterns become automatic. This makes it easier to write essays, emails, or messages without constantly checking grammar rules. You will also feel more confident speaking English because your brain remembers the patterns you've seen in books and articles. For example, after reading several mystery stories, you may naturally say things like, "He must have forgotten his keys. I wonder what happened next." These phrases feel natural because you've seen them used in similar situations. 8. Practical tips for learning grammar through reading. To make the most of reading, follow these tips. Choose material at your level. Start with simple books or graded readers. These materials are designed for English learners and use clear language. Read a variety of texts. Try different types of content, such as stories, articles, and dialogues. Each type offers valuable grammar examples. Notice sentence patterns. Pay attention to common phrases and structures that appear often. Reread passages. Reading the same text multiple times helps reinforce grammar patterns. Highlight useful examples. Mark sentences that use grammar in interesting ways. Later, you can try writing similar sentences yourself. Reading is one of the most powerful tools for improving your grammar naturally. It shows you how real English is spoken and written, helping you understand grammar and context. By reading regularly, you will absorb grammar rules without needing to memorize them directly. Over time, this will make your English sound more fluent and confident. So pick up a book, find an article, or explore a comic, and watch your grammar skills improve effortlessly. How reading improves listening skills. Reading is not just about understanding written words. It can also significantly improve your listening skills. While this may seem surprising at first, reading plays a vital role in training your brain to recognize, understand, and process spoken English more effectively. Here's how reading can enhance your listening skills in several powerful ways. 1. Familiarity with vocabulary. When you read regularly, you encounter many new words and phrases. Over time, these words become familiar, making it easier to recognize them when someone speaks. For example, if you read a story about hiking and learn words like trail, backpack, or summit, you will quickly recognize these words when someone mentions them in conversation. This improves your ability to follow discussions without hesitation. 2. Understanding sentence structure. Reading exposes you to different sentence patterns and structures. This helps you develop an intuitive sense of how English sentences are built. When listening, your brain can more easily predict what someone might say next because you have seen similar sentence patterns before. For instance, after reading phrases like, "I was just about to," or "if I had known," you will naturally understand those phrases when they appear in conversations. 3. Learning the rhythm of English. English has a natural rhythm, with pauses, intonations, and emphasis on certain words. By reading dialogue in books or comics, you gain a better sense of how English sounds. This makes it easier to catch the flow of speech when listening to native speakers. For example, reading a novel where characters have casual conversations can train your ear to pick up informal language patterns like gonna instead of going to. 4. Improved prediction skills. When you read, you often predict what will happen next based on context clues. This same skill applies to listening. As you become familiar with common phrases and storytelling patterns, you can better anticipate what someone is about to say. This reduces the need to understand every single word and allows you to follow conversations more easily. 5. Better comprehension of fast speech. Native speakers often speak quickly, combining words or dropping sounds. For example, "What are you doing?" may sound like "what you doing" when spoken fast. Reading helps you get used to these patterns so you can understand spoken English more easily, even when words are pronounced quickly or casually. 6. Increased focus and attention. Reading requires concentration. As you develop this skill, you train your brain to focus for longer periods. This improved focus makes it easier to stay attentive during conversations, lectures, or movies. Reading longer stories or articles strengthens your ability to listen without becoming distracted. 7. Exposure to common expressions. Books, magazines, and blogs are full of common idioms, phrases, and slang that native speakers use. By reading these expressions frequently, you will recognize them when they appear in conversation. For example, after seeing the phrase "hit the sack" in a story, you will immediately understand its meaning when someone says it in real life. 8. Building confidence in listening. The more you read, the more comfortable you become with English. This confidence carries over to listening. When you hear familiar words and phrases, you will feel more prepared to understand and respond. This reduces anxiety and allows you to focus more on the conversation itself. Tips for using reading to improve listening. Read aloud. Reading aloud helps you hear the sounds of English as you practice pronunciation and rhythm. Listen while you read. Try listening to audiobooks while following along with the text. This connects written words to their spoken form. Choose books with dialogue. Stories with natural conversations expose you to the way people actually speak in daily life. Practice with different texts, mixed fiction, nonfiction, articles, and even comics to hear a wide range of vocabulary and sentence patterns. Reading is a powerful tool that can significantly improve your listening skills. By expanding your vocabulary, understanding sentence structure, and learning the rhythm of English, you will find it easier to follow conversations and engage with others confidently. The more you read, the better your listening skills will become, making your overall English communication stronger and more natural. Reading boosts confidence in speaking English. Reading is a powerful tool that can significantly improve your confidence when speaking English. Many language learners struggle to express themselves because they are unsure of the right words or afraid of making mistakes. Reading regularly can help overcome these fears by providing new vocabulary, familiarizing you with sentence patterns, and improving your ability to express ideas clearly. 1. Expanding vocabulary for better expression. When you read books, articles, or even comics, you come across new words and phrases. These words are not just random, they appear in meaningful contexts. For example, if you read a story about a young traveler, you may learn words like adventure, journey, or explore. Over time, these words become part of your natural vocabulary. This makes it easier to describe your experiences and share your thoughts in conversations. Imagine this scenario. You read a story about a chef working in a busy restaurant. Later, when you talk to friends about cooking, you can confidently say, "I read about this amazing chef who makes delicious dishes under pressure." Reading gives you interesting ideas and words that you can use to make your conversations more engaging. 2. Learning sentence patterns. When you read frequently, you become familiar with natural English sentence structures. Instead of memorizing grammar rules, you start to feel how English works. For example, after reading sentences like, "She went to the store because she needed some milk," you'll naturally understand how to connect ideas using words like because, although, or however. This helps you form your own sentences easily and naturally. When you speak, you won't need to pause and think about every grammar rule. Your mind will automatically recall these familiar patterns. 3. Developing a natural speaking flow. Reading aloud is an excellent way to build confidence. By practicing this regularly, you train your mouth and tongue to form English sounds smoothly. For example, reading a simple story aloud a few times will help you develop a natural rhythm. This practice makes speaking easier because your mouth becomes more comfortable with English words and phrases. A helpful technique is to read a passage aloud, then try to say the same idea in your own words. This not only improves your pronunciation, but also gives you confidence to express ideas without hesitation. 4. Reducing fear of mistakes. Fear of mistakes often stops learners from speaking English. Reading helps reduce this fear by exposing you to correct language patterns. The more you read, the more confident you become that your words and phrases are correct. For example, if you read the phrase, "I'm over the moon about my new job," several times, you'll remember that this is a natural way to express excitement. Later, when you feel happy about something, you'll feel confident using the same phrase. Mistakes are part of learning, but reading helps reduce them. Seeing correct English sentences repeatedly makes it easier to remember the right way to speak. 5. Gaining knowledge for conversation. Reading gives you more to talk about. Whether it's a fun fact from an article, a memorable quote from a book, or an inspiring story you read, these ideas help you connect with others. For example, if you read about famous landmarks in New York, you can confidently join a conversation about travel and say, I read that the Empire State Building has over 100 floors. This kind of knowledge boosts your confidence because you have something interesting to share in conversations. 6. Building a positive mindset. Success builds confidence. As you read more and see your English skills improve, you'll feel proud of your progress. Each time you successfully finish a story or understand a new article, you'll gain more confidence to use English in real-life situations. To stay motivated, choose materials that interest you. If you enjoy sports, read sports news. If you like fashion, read fashion magazines. Reading things you enjoy will make learning feel fun instead of difficult. Reading is one of the most effective ways to build confidence in speaking English. By expanding your vocabulary, teaching you natural sentence patterns, improving your speaking flow, and giving you interesting ideas for conversations, reading prepares you to speak English clearly and confidently. So grab a book, a magazine, or even a comic, and start building your confidence one page at a time.